Hi guys, I'm Mike and this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to the channel guys, and today I have a special guest joining me again, and it's someone who's been on the channel lots. It's always great to get together and talk with Raz. So Raz, welcome back to the channel.
Cheers, Mike. An honour to have to be on with you. I really enjoy being on with you as always, and let's get this show on the road and talk about Mick Schumacher.
Absolutely. If people hadn't figured out already by the thumbnail that clicked you onto this video, we are going to be talking about Mick Schumacher today. Obviously, current Formula 2 champion, now promoted to as wearing Haas F1 for the 2021 season. So me and Raz are just going to really talk about probably, what can we expect from Mick Schumacher, maybe talk about how good we think he is, in relation to everything, and probably the pressures that come with him in relation to his dad being the son of Michael Schumacher. But we'll start off with Raz, what do you think we can expect from Mick Schumacher this year?
Well, I think we have to be realistic, because I think obviously we have to bear in mind what the Haas team actually is. There was diabolical last year, and with the bit of controversy surrounding them lately, I think that's another thing to bear in mind with. But I think in my latest in my 2021 season predictions, I said that Mick won't be higher than 19th, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think absolutely correct. Look, that Haas car was probably by the end of the season the worst car on the grid, worse than the Williams, I would say. So they're not going to be miracles in turning things around. They're not suddenly going to go from a car from languishing at the back to being competitive in the midfield and being a car that can score points regularly in Grand Prix. I think, it might be a season where the team struggle to score any points, a bit like Williams have done for the past couple of seasons. So, yeah, I think absolutely we got to be realistic with Mick Schumacher and Haas. Obviously, you spoke about the controversy that's around his teammate Nikita Mazepin. An unpopular choice within the seats anyway. And then obviously his, the video that he posted on Instagram certainly didn't help anything. And Haas not putting any further action on it certainly hasn't helped their case to be popular with people. But that aside, there have been plenty of people who've spoken about on the platform about that. Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin as teammates, talking about them on track. Nikita is a talented driver on track in my books. I think the bare minimum, Mick has to beat his teammate this year, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think he's going to annihilate him.
You could think he's going to annihilate him.
Yes.
Very interesting in terms of that. I think it will be closer than probably people think. And especially, Mick usually has, especially in this past couple of series, he's taken like a season to get used to the series. And I feel like both drivers who will take risks, Mick proved he was so consistent in the Formula 2 season, which led him into the position where he eventually won the championship, consistently scoring podiums and stuff. But maybe Nikita might go a little bit more aggressive and find a way to maybe get those points if there's a rare opportunity to score points for the team and get ahead of him. But I think bare minimum Mick Schumacher has to do this season is do it. I think it'll be close. I don't think he'll annihilate Nikita. But I guess probably rather than Formula One championship points, do you reckon the teammate battle will be decided as in qualifying head-to-head and race head-to-head? So kind of beating your teammate in there, not necessarily kind of points-wise.
I don't know, because I still think that Haas are going to get a couple of points. But I think you're right, because I think it's going to be decided within the qualifying and the starting positions. I mean, I might be a bit biased because he is the son of my hero, so I might be a bit biased, but I really do hope he's going to do well. But as you said, we've got to give him time, and we can't expect him to set the world on or set the track on fire in the first season. But I think Haas is gonna be a good be a good team to learn his trade. Where he can learn his trade. Although I did say that Sauber might have been a better option, but Haas, I think, is the second best option.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think Alfa Romeo would have been the best option for him with that kind of mentorship with Kimi Räikkönen. I think Kimi would have been really good for Mick Schumacher to learn from, and a kind of no pressure environment. But Haas, what they'll do is they'll put all their resources behind Mick Schumacher. I think Günther Steiner's already been quoted in terms of, we want the same thing to happen with Mick that happened with Charles Leclerc, Sauber, in terms of did well, got promoted to Ferrari. They've always said that they want to be an independent team in terms of that, but with Haas now having part of the factory at Maranello, having a base there, increasing and strengthening their partnership with Ferrari, it certainly does feel like a route with Mick Schumacher that's almost Haas are kind of going to survive in F1. We're probably going to have to become more of a Ferrari support team for the future. And, Ferrari have already bigged up Mick Schumacher in looking like he's planning his future to be at Ferrari, driving alongside one of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't Charles Leclerc. But yeah, so giving him time from there. But the first season, that rookie season, it's going to be so difficult. But I guess that probably leads us on nicely to how good do you think Mick Schumacher can be?
How good can he be? Well, we've got to stop comparing him to his dad. Yeah, and I know this is absolutely impossible, because he is the son of, yeah. But I believe we need to give him time, and we need to respect the fact that he is his own man. And don't forget, I think he's doing an incredible job as he is right now, because don't forget, he has got to learn all the Formula One and everything by himself, so to speak, without his dad being there. And we all know what happened, so we won't go into that. But I think that's hard for him, and I think he's doing an incredible job despite the circumstances. In terms of what he can do, well, I think he can win the championship.
I think, at this early stage, I think it's far too early. I think he's proven through his junior career, if you put him in the right position and in the right place, He certainly has the ability and the mindset to be able to win championships like he's done with the F3 title, well, European F3, which obviously basically merged to become F3, and the F2 title. I think if he gets in Ferrari get a championship winning car, I think you're right. He certainly in the future would be capable of winning a championship. I think maybe a comparison of him and Damon Hill would be probably quite a good one. Their dads, for reasons not being around there, obviously Graham Hill passing away in the 70s. But, pressure of having a world championship winning dad, the pressure on Mick Schumacher is tenfold on what it was on Damon Hill because, Graham Hill, obviously fantastic driver, only guy to have won the Triple Crown, motorsport history. But Michael Schumacher is a 7-time Formula One world champion. He is Ferrari's most successful ever driver. The records are just there and obvious to see. And I think certainly coming up through the junior categories, he's the driver who has had the most pressure on him, possibly ever, within the sport. Because, all people do, and like you said, we got to stop comparing him to his dad. This is Mick's legacy, this is Mick's Formula One career. And yes, he has the Schumacher name, but his career is completely different. And we gotta kind of see how that kind of exposes and go there. But I think winning a world championship in the future would be possible in terms of that. Do you see him? I mean, we're all kind of acting in the realm of ifs, buts, and maybes. But do you see him making his way to Ferrari and making that kind of almost romantic journey?
Yes and no. I mean, I can see where the romance could be. But I would much rather see him doing it in a Mercedes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. Very interesting.
Because, I mean, let's face it, if he goes to Ferrari, he's always going to be compared to his dad. Always.
Correct.
And also, if he goes to Ferrari, I think Carlos Sainz's career is very short-lived. Because I think if he goes to Ferrari, the one that is gonna go would be Carlos Sainz, and I think Mick could go to Ferrari within the next 3 years. And Carlos Sainz is only 25, is he?
Yeah, 25. I think going on to 26.
Yeah, so he would, like Carlos Sainz. I think I don't want people getting the wrong idea, but I think he could be the placeholder for Mick Schumacher. But the reason why I would like to see him at Mercedes is because, yes, his dad raced for Mercedes, but he didn't actually have that much success at Mercedes in terms of wins and podiums and stuff. So I think the pressure would be less at Mercedes than what it would be with Ferrari.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Raz, actually. It'd be a team that his dad was still linked to, and a German team as well, being a German driver. So there are a lot of positives to there, and you just comparing the two teams over the last 10 years, who would you rather drive for? Would you rather drive for Mercedes or Ferrari? And although Ferrari always have the allure of, everyone, if they get the opportunity to drive for Ferrari, goes, or I might do type of situation. It always has that tempting lure. Mercedes have dominated the past decade, and they don't look like slowing up, and they just have such a strong team that, yeah, Mick Schumacher, consistency has been the key to Mercedes, and he certainly has driver attributes to say that. But, would they look at Mick Schumacher over a George Russell, who, is their junior driver and has already shown in the 2020 season that he is capable of performing within that team environment? So I think Ferrari is the one. I think Mick has his heart set. He's always been with the Ferrari-linked teams, with Prema coming all the way up. Haas obviously has a strong link to Ferrari. All the paths do link to Ferrari. He's just got to put the performances and show his ability that he's worthy of that seat. And then who knows? Ferrari might have sorted themselves out. But yeah, you're right. If he goes to Ferrari, he certainly will never escape, or it will be elevated, all that comparisons to his dad, definitely.
Yeah, and I worry for him because, as I said, you've got the likes of Carlos Sainz. He's got his Carlos Sainz Senior, a racing driver. So if he needs any support, or he can go and ask for advice. I mean, not that I don't know whether they do, but I mean, look at the likes of Max Verstappen. Yeah, I mean, he no doubt has got his dad in the background, but I wonder who Mick turns to if he's got I wonder how he copes with it.
I think that man is Sebastian Vettel. In Mick's eyes, I think he's already been quoted saying, what Michael was to Sebastian is what Sebastian is to me, in terms of and the type of person Sebastian is. If ever Mick needed him, I think he 100% would be there. And I'm sure they have links and connections already. They're both German as well, easy speaking contact. Obviously, yes, in an ideal world, and what a family man Michael was, it would have been great for him to be able to lean on Michael. But that unfortunately isn't the situation that Mick can be within. But Sebastian, I think, is going to be, I would say, you're going to see a very close relationship between Sebastian and Mick, if I was to predict anything for the forthcoming seasons with them both in F1.
Yep, and I've got a question for you.
Oh, yeah?
Who do you think Ferrari would X? Would it be Sainz or Leclerc?
I think, bar Charles Leclerc suddenly just becoming reckless, it would be Carlos Sainz in a heartbeat. They have no ties to Sainz. He is just there. They've had no real investment through his career, and that's harsh on Carlos Sainz, because I think he's done very well the past 2 seasons, and he isn't deserving of being axed. But I feel like he'd get the Checo treatment that Racing Point, now obviously Aston Martin, gave him, in terms of, even if he was loyal to them for the next 2-3 years and Ferrari then decided Mick, I don't think they'd hesitate. I think in a heartbeat they would drop Carlos Sainz.
Do you think his career would be over then?
Depends how well he's done at Ferrari, I think, is the question on there, because Checo managed to move on and secure himself arguably further up the ladder with Red Bull. So Carlos Sainz, I could very easily see him maybe ending up in a Mercedes of some sort if he impresses at Ferrari, to partner a George Russell in the future, and almost do what Valtteri Bottas was doing, depending on or that sort of role within the team. I could definitely see Carlos Sainz maybe doing that. So no, I wouldn't, unless Carlos Sainz can seriously flops at Ferrari, I wouldn't say that his career would be over.
Yep. So how? Let's make a prediction then. How long will it take Mick before he's in a Ferrari?
I'm going to say Mick Schumacher will be in the Ferrari at the start of the 2023 season. What's your prediction, Raz?
Well, I think 2024.
Okay, so look, we've got a year out. I mean, there's nothing on this bet other than obviously a friend's bragging rights on it. But yeah, I think it's certainly 2 to 3. It's not going to be a Charles Leclerc situation where he has a season at Sauber Alfa Romeo and then gets promoted to Ferrari. I think it will at least be a couple of seasons, especially how Mick's career path has gone to date. But that probably rounds up our kind of thoughts on Mick Schumacher. I'll just round it off with one last point. Obviously, you said Michael Schumacher is your hero, Raz. How excited are you to see Mick in Formula One and almost the Schumacher legacy with F1 continue?
That's a hard one. That's a hard question. Because I think we've got to give him credit for what he wants to do. But I also know that he's incredible. He's under incredible pressure from all kinds of media. Especially with being German and all that, and especially with Ferrari and all that. I really want him to succeed. But I fear, and this is a genuine fear of mine, that there might be tensions at Haas to start off with between him and Mazepin, because Mazepin has already come out and said they're not friends, and I think that if he goes to Ferrari, I think Leclerc he's either gonna Mick Schumacher is either gonna own Leclerc and destroy Leclerc's career, finish Leclerc's career off, or it's gonna be the other way around. So, I think only one driver can be on top.
Absolutely. That is the ruthless business of Formula One, Raz. And I think you summed up there. It is going to be, there is so much pressure on Mick to succeed, and the eyes of the world are watching him. But it's going to be fascinating, I think, to see how his career and his journey unfolds. He's done one of the hardest bits, which is actually making it to Formula One. Now he's got to get the next step, which is being competitive and succeeding with Formula One, whether that be, succeeding in terms of regular points finishes or being competitive in Formula One, or whether it becomes to the lofty heights of competing for Formula One World Championships. We don't know what the future holds for Mick, but I think it's certainly going to be an interesting journey on there. But Raz, thank you so much for coming on and talking Mick Schumacher with me. It's as being a Schumacher fan, I don't think there was anyone I could have asked to come on and do Mick justice like you have today. So thank you so much for coming on, mate.
No problem. And just let me say this: I'm really pleased with I'm really grateful for the support that everyone's been giving me. I'm over the moon, and I just want to say that I can't believe I'm still in touch with everyone that I've had on the unplanned Formula One chat. It really means a lot to me. And we're going towards 1K subscriber mark as well. We're currently at 841, so let's see whether we can break the 1,000 subscribers very soon. But if you haven't already, please feel free to check out my merchandise store. It would really mean a lot to me, and if you wanna purchase something there, you also help me out, and it would really mean the world to me. But having said that, I hope everybody is well, and hopefully we can get this corona over and done with pretty soon, and then we can finally meet up, Mike. So thanks for having me on, brother.
No problem at all, mate. And I reiterate, guys, if you haven't already, please go and check out Raz On F1. He was talking about some of those chats. The unplanned F1 chat is a great little kind of interview segment that Raz does on the channel. So certainly go and check that out. I'll leave links in the description down below to Raz's channel and his social medias as well. But that is it for us today, guys. So for now, you F1 fans, keep racing.